Hello and welcome to another episode of Toothless MMA's radio series Quick Hitters. I'll be your host, John Galloway, and today as we look at the world of combat sports, I'll be joined by my guest, EJ Brooks. EJ, John Galloway, Toothless MMA Radio, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. How you doing?
Very good, thank you for asking. So EJ, you are scheduled to have a fight coming up towards the end of August, August 22nd, for Titan Fighting. But a little wrench got thrown in the mix today when Efren Escudero, who was originally going to be your opponent, re-signed with the UFC. They're currently looking for another opponent for you. Any thoughts on who that might be at this point?
I have no idea. I'll fight anybody they put in there, really, as long as he's in my weight class. But that does suck. I'm not mad at Efren for taking that opportunity. I would do the same thing. It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Now, this is scheduled to be the first time that you're fighting for Titan. How exactly did you come about working with them?
Just random. I got hit up and they asked me to fight on the card and fight Efren, and I jumped at the opportunity.
Now you
so
have
pretty much just kind of lucky.
Now your current pro record is 7-3. You started off like gangbusters, coming out going 7-0. Your last 3 fights haven't finished so well for you. What do you think that's attributed to?
Honestly, bad luck. Really, my first loss, I lost to a guy that I was heavily favored to beat. I was pretty sure I was a better fighter, but he was a better fighter that night. He caught me with the first punch that landed and knocked me out. And, there was not much I could really do about that. He had one shot at winning the fight, and he got it, and
Right.
there was nothing I could really do about that. Then my next fight was a year later, and I think having a year-long layoff really hurt me, technically.
Okay.
And I got in the cage, and I just didn't feel right, and I had a horrible weight cut. I didn't even make weight for the fight. And with all that said and done, I had a bad performance, but I still think I won the fight. There were a lot of people who thought I won that fight. I fought a guy in his hometown, literally his hometown. And it was just, I really don't know how I lost. There's 15 minutes in a fight. This guy might have been on his back for at least 11 minutes.
Right.
He couldn't stop me from taking him down and save his life. And he was also a good wrestler, and I made it like he never wrestled a day in his life. But somehow, he got the W, And then my last fight was May 30th, I think it was, and
yes.
I was in Toronto, Canada, fighting another guy in his hometown. And it was a really close fight. And I wasn't too upset about this fight, even though it was another fight after a long layoff. And it was really close, so I know that, in somebody's hometown, if the fight's close, it's going to the other guy. So I really didn't get too mad about that one. I was just like, I got to go back and work on finishing guys and being more decisive in my victories. So really, that's what it is right now. I'm a better fighter now than I was a couple of months ago, and I was really looking forward to showcasing that on effort.
Well, hopefully we'll still be able to see on that card. Now, you had mentioned a couple times how you had some layoffs in there. In 2011, you fought 4 times. In 2012, you fought 3 times. But then there was that year-long layoff into 2013, and then another 8-month layoff coming into 2014. Any reason for those layoffs? Just couldn't find a fight, or what was going on there?
Yeah, I know I'm 7-3. I don't seem like I'm a stud, but believe it or not, guys are not jumping to fight me. I'm a pretty good athlete, and I have elite wrestling, so that just makes a very difficult matchup for anybody. Like I said, Bellator, when I was with Bellator, they took care of me, and they got me fights back to back to back to back. But when I got knocked out, kind of got sour with the organization. I'm not going to say any names, but there were people who weren't fond of me and pretty much told me, we're going to sit you for a while, which I was like, what? Who does that? So I asked for my release and I got it. But then I got reminded that, Bellator took me at 2-0, and that was because I couldn't get fights. Like, nobody wanted to fight me, early on in my career. And as soon as I got my release from Bellator, it was the same problem. I couldn't get fights. So I didn't get a fight until RFA signed me. And, I mean, like I said, it took a whole year and a week. I fought a year and a week from the day I got knocked out. And I got screwed in that fight. So then I was supposed to fight for RFA in February, and my opponent had to back out because of medical issues.
Right.
And that was a week of the fight, and they couldn't find me an opponent on short notice.
Okay.
So then Scott Cutler, who was the matchmaker of RFA, got me a fight with AFC in Alaska for April, and my opponent got cut the week of the fight in April. So, once again, that's two fights within months of each other that got, postponed like the week of the fight. And then right after that, Scott Cutler, doing his job, helping me out, got me to fight in Toronto with Substance Combat. And unfortunately, like I said, I lost that fight, really close fight to a guy in his hometown. And that's where I'm at right now, he actually is the one who actually kind of got me hooked up with Titan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, looking back, you had mentioned that you had a good athletic background. I'm going to say it was a little bit more than good. You were at high school wrestling records 112-22. College, you were 60-20. You were the junior national champion for Lincoln College. Then you went on to Mizzou to wrestle for 3 years. How has that background helped you when you're coming into MMA?
It helps me a lot. Wrestling, to be honest, man, I don't know that there's anybody in my weight class that's a better MMA wrestler than me. And I think I'm one of the best athletes. I just haven't had the opportunity to display how good I really am. I'm down here training the American Top Team. I'm getting better. I had a talk with Coach Ricardo Laborio, down here yesterday after practice, and he told me I haven't scratched the surface of how good I really am. And he told me that one day I could be a world champ, and I believe that, But it's all about opportunities. And like I said, when I got this fight with Efren, I was like, you know what? This will be the fight that on national television I display how good I really am. And unfortunately, but fortunately for him, he got signed back to UFC, and I'm still waiting.
Right. Well, that's big praise coming from your coach. Now, lately we've seen a resurgence in wrestling when it comes to MMA. Daniel Cormier has really brought the focus back onto that with his background and his rise coming up in the UFC. A term that's been thrown around a lot lately is the grind. It's a wrestling term. Explain to people who don't know what that means what the grind is.
Well, the grind, I tell people all the time, I do MMA, so I can say this. Wrestling is the hardest sport in the world. I played all sports in high school. I played football as a freshman. I played soccer. I played baseball. I ran track. I pretty much did everything you could do as far as athletics go. And I know personally, wrestling is the toughest sport there is. Wrestling is tougher than MMA. It's just a constant grind in the sense of, there's no pull guard in wrestling. Like you're always working. You're always banging. There's no breaks. There's no, if somebody hits you in the stomach with a body shot, you drop and get a 10 count. No. If somebody slams you in wrestling, you have to keep moving because you're about to get pinned. Like, there's no break. There's no break in wrestling. And it goes for training, it goes in matches, and it's kind of a lifestyle. If you don't live your life right, if you don't die right, if you don't do the right things, it's going to affect your performance. And wrestling is an embarrassing sport. If you get whipped up in wrestling, it's kind of embarrassing. The next man looks at you like, I own you. You can get lucky and beat somebody in a striking match or in a jiu-jitsu match and catch him with a submission. In wrestling, if I beat you up, I own you.
That's it, right? So
Yeah.
I went on YouTube. I looked up some of your fight videos. I found a nice highlight reel that you have on there, and I would highly recommend looking it up. EJ Pretty Boy Brooks on YouTube. Find a nice couple of videos there. But I noticed in a lot of your fights, you also throw a lot of kicking techniques. Where do you become so comfortable with your kicks?
I don't know. Watch Power Rangers.
In my generation, it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You guys, younger guys, it's the Power Rangers.
Oh no! Trust me, I grew up watching Ninja Turtles too. I just threw them out there. Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, you name it. I watched them. Even Voltron and stuff like that.
Nice.
But no, when I first got into MMA, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just a wrestler, so I focused a lot on my striking, and I got very powerful legs, so I wanted to utilize those. You know, I didn't want my legs to just be for explosive takedowns and take down the fist. I wanted to chop people down with body kicks, leg kicks, and right now I'm at the point in my game where I'm working on having lethal head kicks. You know, I want to take people's heads off. You know.
Right.
So, like I said, I got into kicks, and one of my favorite fighters is Kung Lee. I know no one ever says that, but Kung Lee has actually really inspired me to throw side kicks all the time, you know, and he's just lethal with everything. So I watch a lot of his film.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal kicker. He's definitely somebody that you can model yourself after. If kicking is something that you're looking to improve upon, there's no doubt about that. Now, with the wrestling background and this interest in striking, do you think they play off of each other where you're not so worried about the takedown, so you can be a little bit more loose with your striking because you have your confidence in your wrestling? Is that something that you would say is fair?
Well, I would say it's there now. It wasn't always there in the sense of, I would say the big problem I had in my career, even when I was winning, I never really let my hands go. As far as, I'm not just talking about kicks. I would kick all day. But my coach would always tell me, you gotta let your hands go. You gotta let your hands go. And I never really did it. And it took this last fight in May for me to realize that I actually have really good boxing. I hit really hard, you know, but I learned it at the end of the fight and it was kind of too late, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So, right now, people in the wrestling world know that I kind of have, a freakish ability to fight off takedowns. In most cases where even the most elite wrestlers will get taken down, I don't. It's one of my talents. I get in situations where 9 times out of 10 somebody would score and nobody would score me. You wouldn't score the takedown. So my coaches have always said, you have this guy's gift of amazing hips. Why are you so afraid to throw? You don't have to worry about anybody taking you down. And if somebody does take you down, I have really good ability of getting up. So right now in this camp, my whole focus is being very aggressive with striking and not worried about anything, not worried about exchanging, not worried about getting taken down, which was, I'm not going to say necessarily a fear, but something I wasn't confident in early in my career. Well, for most of my career, honestly.
All right, now I know the fight's not going to happen, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but looking at the fight with Escudero that you were originally scheduled for, what advantages did you see you having coming into this?
Honestly, everything. I think, this is no disrespect to him. I think he's a great fighter. I don't know him personally, so this is not personal. I feel like he had nothing for me. I feel like I'm the bigger, stronger guy. I'm the better wrestler. I think he might be a better all-around jiu-jitsu guy, but I think my wrestling was so good that I wasn't worried about it. And I think I was a better striker. I was going to keep the fight on our feet and just beat him, and take him down when I wanted to. To be honest, I think the fight went wherever I wanted to go.
Yeah, when I originally...
And not to mention,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on a 3-fight losing streak, so he probably looked at me like, oh, this guy, he's on a 3-fight losing streak, blah, blah, he's not that tough, I'm probably the toughest guy on a 3-fight losing streak that you will ever face. Believe me on that.
Well, I got to tell you, I was hoping, when I saw this announcement come across, I was really looking forward to this fight. Hopefully, we'll be able to see it one day down the road when you get into the UFC. But before I wrap this up and get you out of here, where can people find you so they can keep track and find out when your next fight is? Where can they see you on social media?
My Twitter handle is ejizzle149. That's also my Instagram, so that's EJIZZLE149. That's my Twitter and my Instagram. And Facebook page, EJ Brooks MMA. Look me up.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up another episode of Toothless MMA's radio series, Quick Hitters. I'd like to extend a big thank you to today's guest for joining us. For EJ Brooks, this is John Galloway, and we are tapping out.